Welcome back to the channel. I have a little bit of a special video for you today here where we're doing a little bit of detailing here, and it's a little bit different than what I'm normally working on. If you can kind of see behind me, there's 2 cars here, there's 2 more cars in front of me, but the car we're working on today is a special one. It's going to be at the Hershey Fall Show here in Pennsylvania in Hershey, PA. And the car right off the bat was never filthy. It's a show car, it's a trailer queen, but it needed to be taken that last 2%, right? The car was 98%, but it's got to be 100% for the show. So I wanted to film this here. I'm going to try to show you some of the very, very, very small details of things that have to be cleaned. I have Dan over here helping me. I have Chad from Pristine Automotive Detailing here. And we're going to kind of show you, right now we're starting on the wheels, and the car, you'll see in a second why the wheels are a pain in the butt. But let me just shut up here and show you the car. 1965 Austin Healey 3000. It's actually a custom British racing green. I mean, you can see we haven't done anything with the engine bay, and here's the cleanliness already of the engine bay. But again, we're looking for that last 2%, that very, very small amount. So right now we're kind of going through, we're starting with the wheels. This is going to be a multiple evening venture, but you can see all the chrome spokes here on the wheels is just a nightmare.
They're
a nightmare to see.
Really good shape. It's
yeah,
just,
they're dusty. There's some grease in behind there, so you kind of have to get up in there, get behind there, and really just clean them up. So with this taking this long time to do, pretty much 4 wheels, it's probably going to be half hour to an hour a wheel at least. What we're going to do once Chad gets done with this wheel, I'll check his work. He can go check my wheel over there in that corner. That way we have a second set of eyes on here, kind of working through and double checking everybody's work. So we're gonna do the wheels, then we're gonna kind of analyze the paint here. Paint's pretty good actually. We already kind of walked over it, but we really need to look, make sure there's no big scratches, gouges, anything like that. It is a single stage paint, but right now it's actually checked out quite nice. The biggest area that the owner is concerned about is all these small areas inside the trim. The camera wants to focus. All the small trim areas, we're gonna get all that cleaned up, get all the rubber areas cleaned up, the wheel wells, all stuff like this, all the dirt in here, everything cleaned up. You'll see up here, zoom in, all of this, the water spotting up here, see this kind of fading. Again, all these very, very small things is what we're shooting for here on this car. So on the top, you can see the top's pretty good. There's some small areas on the top, if it'll come through on camera, some spots we'll have to clean up here. The interior, of course, will get some love as well. So we're going through here. I'm going to show you some of the small, minute, very, very tiny areas that we're working on to get to that car to the next level, to be able to have it on a showcase like that. This is one of the first cars that I've been privileged to work on for a big show like this. Chad, thanks for coming out and helping. I mean,
yeah, thanks for having me, man.
We
never worked on Austin Healey, so this is really cool.
Yeah, so you have a channel. You want to tell them your channel here? I'll link it, right down below.
Yeah, Pristine Auto Detailing. Just type in Pristine Auto Detailing. Look for the red shield, and you'll find us. Perfect.
So he's come up to help. We kind of wanted to do like a joint little video on here, and just to kind of help each other out. And again, this is a new project for both of us, so I figured it'd be a perfect opportunity to get together, link up. I've watched some of his videos, he's watched some of mine, and just finally meet and do something that we all love to do. So we're gonna get to it here. I'll check back in with you guys shortly. So here's an example. We have the top down here, but here's an example. We're gonna see all this these marks in here. The top will be up, but we still want to inspect this, so when they put the top down, all this will be clean in here, all throughout here. So just an example of the details that we're gonna be taking care of. So here we're in the engine bay. So got dirt in here. All that'll be cleaned up. So there's some spots. Again, very small, minor areas. let me give you guys a little update on the car so far. So we have the interior vacuumed out. We have some cleanup yet on the dash, but interior's all cleaned out, all vacuumed out. We're going to treat the leather yet, but other than that, it's pretty clean. Interior's done, wheels are done, wheel wells are done. So here's the shot of the wheels. It's going to be tough to pick up on camera, but I mean, their spokes are clean. The hub in here is clean. Wheel wells in here, again, it's a little dark, but hopefully to pick up. Wheel wells are clean. Engine bay I was working on, you guys probably saw that in some of the time lapse. This is going to take some time. It was pretty clean to begin with, but the tough part about this engine bay was it was so clean that it's hard to track what you've cleaned. So a lot of it is, you know, like this area, getting in around the bolts here, all the nooks and crannies. You saw earlier there were some spots in here. So cleaning all that up. I think we're about wrapping up tonight. We have all the chrome trim cleaned up. Dan was going through working on that. So all the chrome that you see, all cleaned up, even around all the lights here. All the front bumper here and in the grill, all cleaned up. The chrome around here, all up here when I was talking about earlier, that's off. You can see that, that's all cleaned up nicely. So we have a little bit left to do in terms of the exterior outside of the paint work. We're saving the paint for last. Because as you're kind of working around, you'll get some smudging here and there. We'll clean that up. We also have the rubber trim yet to do, and then hit the engine bay again for the second time with all of us kind of taking a second look at it, making sure that we're not missing any spots. Again, then treat the interior, clean the dashboard up a little bit. It's pretty clean already, but again, you know, we're gonna go make sure all the chrome around the speedometer is all cleaned up in there. And yeah, we're cranking quite along here. It's been a couple hours in here, but we got a couple more days of this. But so far, I think it's coming out really well. All right, guys, we are on day 2 of the Austin Healey detail. Now, if you just saw, we did the wheels. We did pretty much from the bottom up wheel wells. We did all the chrome around the car. Now we're working on the interior. Chad's in here kind of cranking away. We've kind of split the car in half. So he was working on that side. I'm working on this side. We're going through basically cleaning the leather before we treat it. We're using a foaming cleaner. I like the foaming because it doesn't run down and get in the pores and anything. It just kind of, it's like a shaving cream foam, so it sits there. But we're working through all the nooks and crannies. There's a spot on the carpet there we got to clean yet. So we're doing basically the tan interior components here. You see Chad's kind of going through with a brush there and kind of pulling some dust out of crevices and area, grabbing it with a damp towel. So we're going through. We have the dash yet to do. My choice for this is actually Adam's foaming leather cleaner because it's a pretty lightweight. It's not too harsh at all. I didn't really want anything harsh because this isn't really dirty. I just wanted to kind of pull some of that dusting and some of that light dirt off. But got the doors yet to finish, and then we're gonna go back to the trunk here, work through the trunk. We have one more tire, one more wheel to go. All the tools in here, but again, nooks and crannies. So we're gonna be going through and tidying all that up. Remember, guys, this is about the 1% that everybody doesn't pay attention to, we have to pay attention to. So we're gonna get to it. I'll bring you guys back up to speed here when we move on to the next part of the car. The leather conditioning here, just put it on a towel. I like to put it in the corner. Put a couple of drops in there, butterfly it over to massage it into the towel, and then this gives you control. You can almost wrap your finger around it and kind of massage it into place and work around. So just a little Troy tip. I have the lights off in the shop just to isolate the interior a little more, a little trick I like to use. But interior, the leather's all cleaned up and conditioned. Just a heavy vitamin E conditioner, basically hand lotion, because leather's skin. This is not leather, but you can see it's just not sheen, not shiny, just clean is kind of the look we're going for. Dashboard's all cleaned up, steering wheel, so she's looking good. So we got the trunk liner out here. Here's the empty trunk, but let me see your towel. Show you guys how dirty. Just the trunk liner on a car that gets driven 50 miles a year. So we've got the trunk liner out. Cleaning up the gas tank. We're gonna clean up around the battery here. Just, you see there's some dust and whatnot. Over here we'll clean all this kind of hair and fur up. It's all down here. Get the leather straps cleaned up. We have the wheel out. So we're gonna go through and get the wheel all cleaned up. You can see kind of in the spokes in there where all the dirt is. So we'll get that all cleaned in here, put it all back together, and that should wrap it up for the trunk. Next up we have the top here. Now there's some spots, it's going to be tough to tell on camera, there's some darker areas here. You can see a line here. I just did a spot right here. I don't know if you'll see if it's a little kind of discolored. Right there you go. That's a little damp. So what I'm doing is I'm spraying just a tiny bit. This is about a medium bristle brush, so it's not too firm, not too soft. Just a tiny bit into the tip there and very lightly massaging the product into the top. We're going through a spot cleaning because we don't want to clean the whole thing if it doesn't need it and have a risk of discoloring it. So we first did a really small spot on the side just to check it, make sure it's not gonna super clean the whole top, and then we're just gonna go through like this with the brush and look for areas, clean it up, and then take a dry microfiber towel and you kind of dab it, damp, and pull off any of the excess product coming up from the upholstery. For this, just using a carpet and upholstery cleaner, really light cleaner, just to pull any of the stuff out of the top. So hopefully I don't have to explain to you guys how to wax a car, but you can do light swirling motions for this car. The paint's super clean, super smooth, just light hand motions with a light film on there. Hopefully you might be able to see the film in the reflection there. Right up there. So we'll go through and do the whole car like this, and then we'll have to come back and we'll have to get all the trim area in here, make sure there's nothing left behind. So this car has a lot of these trim areas, these pieces all throughout here, all across the hood up here. So we'll go through and do that last. Probably get a Q-tip on top of a microfiber towel and just go in there and pull all any excess out. Just a little tip, we rolled up the windows to help prevent any dust from getting in here until we're back. Wrapping up day 2, ran out of time tonight, but what we have left to do is glass. To finish waxing the car, you saw a little test panel back on the trunk there. We were just testing some waxes and what wax do we want to use. I think we're going to just go with an old school 100% carnauba wax. So when we come back on day 3, we'll put the wax on, we'll get the finished chrome pieces all tidied up, all the trim on the body of the car that I showed you, the glass, do a final wipe down of the interior, check the top one last time, and I think that should be good to go. So we'll see you guys on day 3. We have the Austin Healey wrapped up. It came out awesome. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it through on camera, but it's super nice. Everything's all cleaned up. To kind of run through and review what we did, we spent a lot of time here on the wheels really getting all the spokes cleaned up, everywhere cleaned up. Get the wheel wells, the fender wells cleaned up. The bottom of the car, as much as we can under the car. We got all the chrome pieces cleaned up, all the wiper arms, all the glass cleaned up. Again, all the chrome trim back here. We have in the back here even, we have the spare tire, the tool setup, all of that done. Interior done here. That's all immaculate. Gauge cluster wooden trim. Leather has been cleaned and treated. The carpet's been cleaned up. We've got a real nice heavy coat of wax on the car, and as you saw, we have the engine bay cleaned up. I'm super happy with how this came out. Now, the one thing I will say we did not do is a paint correction. This is a single stage paint. Per the owner's request, we did not do that. Perhaps next year, the following year, we're thinking about doing that. But for right now, it's not worth for the tiny, I mean, there's maybe like 1 or 2 little spots. I mean, I'm dead serious. So we didn't really want to kind of go through and correct the whole area. I took care of some little pin size, you know, needle dot size things, but going through and doing a whole car, he didn't want to do that. So again, as you guys can see, the car's all cleaned up. I just wanted to bring you along with this. I know it's not a super technical video. I know some of you guys are going to be a little disappointed in that, but I did try to just showcase my methodology, what I was doing, going through and kind of checking things off the list for that last bit, that last final percent that most people don't even worry about. So again, this car will be at Hershey if you're going to be there. It'll be at Hershey. It's probably one of the best known Austin Healeys. At least from what I understand, it's one of the better known ones in the country, or in the world for that matter. So it's a very well-known car. Hopefully it wins some awards. That'll be a great honor to me. But the owners especially have kept really good care of it. The restoration's on par. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. As always, if you want to follow me on Instagram at detailed.lab, that's my detailing company where you can follow along for stuff like this. You can follow along on my personal Instagram at Troy Sowers. Make sure you guys click that red subscribe button. We'll see you on the next one.